Today we're checking out the V200 Pro from VDIAGTOOL. As you can tell, this is a Pro style electronic tester. It's got a sharp point on one end, connects up to power, and then you have a positive and negative test lead connection as well. I have a series of tests that we'll be putting this tool through to see how it does, how it performs. Alright, what do we have here? Okay, we have the open finder, the probe, the three-way switch, adapter for your battery cable clamps, and alligator clips for test leads. You can power it using a 12-volt lighter adapter. Instruction manual, probe tip, just fits in place nice and snug. Feels pretty good. Alright, let's plug this thing in. I'm going to use the power outlet adapter. Those fit together pretty well. Plugged in. Let's power it on. Nice bright screen. Okay, it looks like power is up, ground is down. Got voltage DC, voltage AC, resistance, diode checker. Pretty simple so far. Has a little light on it in position 1. The tool also comes with an open sensor. I tested a tool very similar to this recently from Syntech. I'll put that link right up here. And it did not do very well. It did not live up to any sort of hype that I had in my head, although it didn't have a lot. So I'm curious to see if the brake finder from VDIAGTOOL is any better. The kit comes with instructions, which is insanely important with a tool like this, especially if you've never used one before, because it'll show you ways to hook up your probe to where you get accurate tests. So whereas most of the time I would throw these things away, I'm going to hang on to this one for a while because I'm pretty sure I'll be referencing it. Alright, let's see if this thing's any good. First things first, you do have to hook up this tool to a power source of some kind. It comes with alligator clips for batteries. Since I have the battery right here, I'm going to go ahead and just put my positive lead on the positive post, negative on the negative post. Take the other end of your incredibly long extension cable and plug it in. Alright, so we have the tool powered up without pressing anything on the tool or the alligator clips being hooked up. If you touch the red lead, it gives you a red light indicating that you have a positive 12.1 volts. And if you touch the negative lead, it lights up a green LED and shows you 0 volts. This would be the normal test function if you were to put the black lead of your multimeter on the negative and the red lead on the positive. It's basically doing the exact same thing as if you had another ground somewhere, like a chassis ground to negative would be 0, chassis ground to battery positive would be hot. The red screen means you're under power, the green screen means you have a ground. Going to remove the AC pressure switch. This is a 4-terminal plug, but it only has 3 pins populated, so it should just be a regular pressure switch, which means we have a power, ground, and a signal. The truck is turned off, there is no key, so let's see if we can get some contacts here. Okay, so I have a green screen there. I also have a green 0 volts there telling me it's ground. Key now is on. Okay, so it's showing us positive 5 volts on that pin, absolute ground on this pin, and then we're getting a positive 3 volts on the 3rd wire, which is usually a signal. Let's do a true back probe test and see if I get anything different. So there's my 4.9 volt positive, there's my ground, 0 volts, and now we have 1 volt with it plugged in. I'm going to start up the truck and let it run, and we'll see if that 1 volt doesn't start changing when we get some AC pressure going. So with the engine shut off, we're at 1.3 volts. We were sitting at like 1.92 volts while it was running. So that's an example of a DC test. Let's see if we can get some AC voltage headed our way. Be careful when doing stuff like that. Those running belts are pretty dangerous. The next mode we have is resistance. Right now it's telling us OL. If I touch it to a chassis ground, I get a good beep for continuity. And this particular ground is saying 0 ohms, so it's fairly decent, I would say. The head is grounded well, 0 ohms again. The beep is nice. When you do a resistance check, it's going to test the resistance of the probe end with your negative cable only. It is only checking for ground. Nothing there, something there. So that's the basic functionality of this guy. Let's see what else this thing can do. Okay, so I have the fog light relay pulled out. Here's an example of a way you can activate components. I'm going to find the 85 pin and 86 pin. For the coil, if I put the V200 on it, I'm going to get good continuity. If I push up arrow, It actually activates the coil inside the relay. So I've tested to make sure that the coil operates. Remember that does not check the contacts, it only checks to see if it makes a click. If I put the probe into the power outlet for the fog light relay, watch what happens here. We just checked the relay coil, we know it's not open, and we activated the circuit on the delivery side, letting us know that that part of the circuit is okay and we don't have to worry about that anymore. If you want to activate something by hand, just take the negative, put it on one end, hopefully the ground, touch your lead to it, and then press the up arrow. Now we've tested this bulb and we know that it's good. Pretty cool trick, and you're not going to be able to do this with a multimeter. You can also do a component activation on the ground side. You don't need a red lead or black lead for it. All you got to do is have the completed circuit. If it's a ground side switch, this will do the exact same thing. Okay, so far it's working really well. I like it a lot. I have a couple of nitpicks, and so here they go. The positive and negative leads. If you don't always need them, they're just dangling around. Not that big of a deal. I think maybe having a plug for these to where you could plug them in up here if you needed them would be a lot better, so that they don't flop in the wind or get into belts while the engine is running, something like that. The other thing I'll say, which is not necessarily negative, look at how long this cable is. I think this is a 20-foot cable, which again is fine under most situations, but if I'm just testing a fuse box right next to the power source, or maybe I'm even using the power adapter inside the cab and I'm just poking around in there, I really don't need 20 feet of extension for it. Plus it comes with another 20-foot extension for the power cord. Maybe they knew in my past life I used to work on buses. In the automotive space, it's a little much. So if I was to make one little critique on that, I would say give us maybe a 4 or 5 foot stock cable and then a 20-foot extension, maybe 2 20-foot extensions. This is a lot. But you're saying to yourself, the probe function is normal enough. How well does the cable tracker work? So I have made a crude circuit here. I have this cable dangling. That will be my positive lead. We're going to pretend like there's a fuse between there and there. Then if you follow the cable, comes all the way around here, comes all the way around here, hooks up to a bulb. Then I have it grounded to my trailer hitch. This is just simulating a circuit. When I touch the positive end to the battery positive post, you'll see that it lights up the light. What do you think's gonna happen when I cut this wire right here? Will the light work? No, it does not. So keep in mind there should be a fuse right here. You would pull the fuse out. You're gonna make sure the tool is in the off position. You still need the battery connections. And at this point, I have the red lead on the power out of the fuse holder. Then switch to position 2. Turn the dial on the brake finder. Then you just take the wand and press the test button and pay attention to the sound it makes. So it's working pretty well. So where do I sit with the results? Is it a solid tool? Yeah. Did it work pretty well? Yeah. Now if you guys are used to power probes, this is going to work very familiar to you. You're able to activate powers and grounds. You're able to test components. I did not show you the diode checker. I did test it and it works fine. Resistance check is okay. Voltage and AC is nice. I like having the wave. You can see the little oscilloscope. The refresh rate is good. I wouldn't use it on super complex or very precise waves if that's what you're in the market for, but it does work fine in the automotive sense. I'm not super sold on the brake finder. Does it work? Yes. As far as accuracy, comparing this one with the Syntec, which I linked earlier in the video, this one did feel a lot more solid. It seemed to act a lot better. It does have a headphone jack, so you could hear it better if you're in a noisy environment. I hope you enjoyed that little review. I'd like to thank VDIAGTOOL for reaching out to me. If you have any questions about the V200, leave them down in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.